Good morning, America. Thanks for joining us here on the Andy Kirkendall Show, where Andy interviews actors, writers, filmmakers, athletes, musicians, songwriters, and more, and asks them, what do you do and why do you do it? So sit back, grab a cup of coffee, and enjoy the show.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Moments. Thank you for joining us today. Today I have from Hot Springs, Arkansas, the Garrett sisters. Welcome, the Garrett sisters.
Hey, hello everybody.
Well, I'm going to have you introduce each member of the group and tell us about yourself. But let me ask you the question I ask everybody. What do you do and why do you do it?
We started singing together about 8 years ago, and actually the Lord brought it together. We grew up singing in church as, sisters, but we had a cousin that came to us and said that y'all need to sing at a Christmas deal in our live nativity on a main street in our town. And I looked at Debbie and I looked at Reba and I said, well, can we get together and sing? Because we've been raising children, and we tried before, but our kids got in the way a little bit, but they're older now. So we got together and I was singing in another group and had a little band that was singing. So they joined us and ended up, this little band stayed with us for 8 years, this little band. Yes. So we've had a live band that stayed for 8 years, and they have a heart after God. And, yes, they don't do it for money because we go places where, there's no money and they never ask. And we just want to see souls saved. And it's really burning in our heart. And when that happened, I know I talked to my sister about it and God really spoke to her, and I'll let her share what God said to her at that time.
I was, been busy with all my kids, but when she said that, I was like, oh my goodness, I don't know, but I felt like the Lord spoke to me about the story about the little boy with fish and loaves. And the little boy just had a little bit, but he gave it to Jesus. When Jesus blessed it, it fed the multitudes. And so to me, it was like the Lord was saying, if you give me what I've given you, no matter how small you may think it is, I can use that to feed the multitudes.
Yes.
So if we give what little gifts we have, I know that the Lord can use it to minister to people. I know that music has ministered to me so many times in my life.
Yes.
And God uses that, I think, a lot of times to speak to people's hearts. And so if we can do that for one person, wherever we go, we feel like it's worth it. It's worth all the time, all the carrying the equipment around and all that. And, it's so beautiful to see. And when people come up and say, you blessed me so much, it's sharing the love of Jesus and we know how much God has been he has just been life for us. He is life.
Yes.
But, our lives, we can look back and know that God has always been faithful. And we want to share that with people because not everybody has seen that. We've seen it for generations.
Yeah.
And we want to share that love of Jesus and that love that he has for his people, for all his children. And that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
And introduce everybody, if you would, please.
I'm Debbie Garrett Brennemen. This is my sister, Glenda Garrett Porter, and our sister, Reba Garrett Pennington.
And I am the oldest. I'm the elder.
I never say that because she just admits it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am the oldest.
It's all okay.
I am the oldest sister, and they're quite a bit younger than I am, so I helped to raise them too.
You
But
did.
we were in a family where our mother sang. I mean, if we got in trouble, our mother sang a song to us.
Yeah.
The answer. So we've always sang throughout the house.
Music's always been important.
Yes, and mother played the piano, and daddy, we always sang. No matter what church we went to, we sang.
Yeah.
He drug us up there and we sang something.
He was an interim pastor several times. So
Of small country churches.
Yes.
So we grew up in the country, y'all.
Yeah.
Y'all. We
Y'all.
can say y'all.
All y'all.
Oh, y'all.
Yeah.
We went to a church that had an outdoor toilet. I ain't kidding. When we were little, and
We're not really that old.
we're not really that old though. No, we're
Speak for
really
yourself.
younger than that. But
You know,
anyway,
my mother could play the piano and yell at us kids to sit down and stop at the same time. She could do that. So yeah, you get multi-talented when you're in a small church and playing the piano and singing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
our dad could stop in the middle of a sentence, say, "Girls, quit laughing or be quiet," and then pick it right up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely. So you travel from church to church, and down below I've got a website where people can get a hold of you. And unlike some groups, you don't ask for a certain amount of money, and not that there's anything
No.
wrong with that. Don't get me wrong, but
No.
where you're at, you just say you just come. And for churches that feel like, well, I don't know if we could afford you,
Exactly.
that's not something they have to be real concerned about, right?
That's right.
No, that's
That's
right.
right.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, we just, we don't set a, I mean, now, if we're going real far away, I mean, we
Absolutely.
might have to for logistics, but, yeah, I mean, we just trust the Lord to provide. We just ask for a love offering, and,
Right.
he takes care of us. He
He does.
provides,
He
but,
does.
when you give into the Lord, he always gives back to you.
Yes.
He's just a good God. He takes care of us.
And it's amazing when you do that, to see the results, to see that the people's lives touched. It's sometimes
Yes.
just a phrase in one song can change somebody's
Yes.
life, right?
Absolutely.
And we always
Absolutely.
of course, we ask the pastor first if it's okay about, prayer afterwards, or we're not again, if it's okay for us to lay hands or pray for people, whatever, we respect
Sure.
what they believe, but we're there to do that,
Mhm.
and we've had people come up to us after church, that have quietly said, "I've got this problem, but I can't tell anybody about it. Will you pray
Yes.
for me?"
Mhm.
And we love to do that. We love to bring people to the throne of grace because we know God has the answer for them. Not that we can't do anything, but we know a God that can. And it's just our privilege to pray for anybody. And it's something we love to do and encourage that.
We have, of course, we live in Hot Springs National Park, but we have a little Adair Park downtown in the historic Hot Springs. And we've been going down there and singing like on gallery walk nights, and it never fails. We get to minister to sometimes homeless people
Yes.
and young couples. I mean, I can't tell you the times where people have come and, they'll talk and talk and afterwards, and, been able to minister to people that maybe wouldn't set foot in a church,
Yes.
and just to love on people and share the love of Christ with people.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's been a privilege really to do that.
Yes.
It's our heart. We see people change and desire to know Jesus. That's it.
There's been a lot of people I've met, and it doesn't have to be singers, but a lot of people I've met that set aside maybe their passion or what God to raise children, to be in different chapter of their life. And then when that chapter is changed, then they go into acting or writing or singing. And now I go, thank you, Lord. I'm glad I did that. But now what you have for me here, I'm always amazed to see God's not done with us. The best is yet
That's
to
right.
come.
That's
And-
right. The best is yet to
Amen.
come.
And we can rest assured that God's got us in his hand and he's in control. Check out the website. Maybe they're you're close enough that there would be a nice trip for them to come to your church or your event. Maybe you're doing an event or something.
Yes.
Maybe you want to hear more of their music and you want to look at their products and find out more about them. Please look that up. As we close today, I'm going to ask you to pass this interview on to somebody else. Maybe they'd like to hear about the Garrett sisters. But as we close today, I'm going to ask you to stop right now after this interview is over and pray for the Garrett sisters. Pray that God would continue to put them in the right place in the right time. You see, the Garrett sisters, they're a fun group of people, but they need your prayers, folks. And you all need the practice. So pray that God would bless them. Thank you so much for joining me in Morning Moments today, ladies.
Thank you for having
Yes.
us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us. Keep coming back, and may God richly bless you.